Hey everyone, and welcome back to Westeros Weekly. I'm Leanna Aguilera.
I'm Ash Carlson, and I believe we had one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones ever.
It was the shortest episode of all time, but I'm gonna say it's the best episode of all time.
I would say so. I mean, we really saw those dragons in action, and oh my God.
We have so much to discuss today, plus we have an exclusive Wildfire Fast 5 with Game of Thrones superfan Dax Shepard.
I'm sorry. It's a little early in the show, but
It's way too early for this.
Are you getting this call?
Yeah.
We're getting we're getting a Stark Sister update.
A Stark Sister update? It finally happened!
We actually have a Stark Sister update this week.
It actually happened, you guys. We didn't think it was gonna happen this early on.
No. Our predictions were wrong. We really thought that Arya was gonna maybe not go back to Winterfell,
We thought that she was gonna nope out there and continue with her plan to go kill Cersei.
Yeah, and then Sansa and Arya reunited in that crypt.
It was a little dark. What did you think about having their first reunion be right in front of their...
In front of Ned,
in front of Ned's statue.
Absolutely love that. I mean, they haven't seen each other in so long, and so much has changed between them, and the way they act and the way they appear. And yeah, I thought it was really appropriate. I loved it.
Arya's first lines to Sansa. Does that mean I have to call you Lady Stark now? So perfect. But I loved their interaction as soon as they got their hugs out of their way, and this is what they said.
How did you get back to Winterfell?
It's a long story. I imagine yours is too.
Yes. Not a very pleasant one.
Mine neither. But our stories aren't over yet.
No, they're not.
Not over yet.
No, they're not.
My biggest takeaway, though, is that Sophie Turner is a liar.
She's a really good liar.
She lied to us at Comic-Con, and I really believed her.
So that was the thing. So we caught up with Sophie Turner. We told her about the Stark Sister update, as you remember, a couple episodes ago. And this is what she said, and it was really funny.
I mean, it would be amazing if they were to cross over at some point, but I think we have more chance in the Marvel Universe than in Game of Thrones, because we're not about happy endings on Game of Thrones.
Look, I get that they lie and they try to come, but that was a good one. She got me a little bit.
That was a really good one, especially because she created another alibi, like, oh, it could happen in this franchise. I don't know. I'm just so pumped that it happened in general.
And then also they're like, well, Bran's here, but he's a little weird now.
He's not the same as you remember.
Not the same, but it was so nice to see
all
Starks.
Three of them walking into Winterfell together. Like, it was so crazy. We haven't seen that many Starks together since season 1.
Yeah, and so much has changed. I mean, Sansa is like deserving of the throne at this point. Hot take, yeah, I said it. Arya's a bit of a little murderer.
She's a badass. She's a little murderer. She's a bit of a murderer, but like a murderer that we're rooting for.
And then Bran's like half dead.
Bran's like, yeah, he really did. He died back in that cave, and that was such an interesting scene where he was just like, thanks, bye.
See ya. Cold.
Cold-blooded.
Ice cold. Maybe iciest moment of the night.
Ooh.
We're not doing that one this week. But yeah. But speaking of Arya, we got to talk about
the face-off between Arya and Breanne. This was a showdown that I didn't know that I wanted, but now I need every single week.
I was like white-knuckling my couch. But also, it was really interesting watching Sansa watch that.
Because originally, when I was watching the scene of her watching them, I thought that maybe she was upset that Breanne was like getting closer with her, but then I realized that she's just processing like, what happened to my little sister? When did she become this little assassin?
Right.
Yeah. Ooh.
It was so good. It was a scene, you're right, a scene I didn't know I needed, but now I need much more of it.
So much more, and there was so much more that happened in this night's episode. So let's take it to the Night's Watch. Jon and Theon.
Little Aki.
Another reunion that I was completely not expecting.
No.
When you finally realized that Theon was coming up on that boat and that he and Jon were going to see each other, what did you think was going to happen?
I didn't know how he was going to react because obviously, you know, Theon did save Sansa's life, so I thought, and Sansa seems to be, you know, on his side. So I thought, okay, it's gonna be all right. Maybe they'll hug.
Yeah.
No, not exactly.
Because the thing is, we have been thinking about Theon so much as this beaten down guy, as Reek, as someone who's been tormented by Ramsay Bolton for so long. But we forgot that, or I forgot that a couple seasons ago, Theon was a huge bleep.
Yeah, he was horrible. I mean,
awful.
Much of Westeros believed that he killed Bran and Rickon.
Exactly, and also he completely betrayed Robb Stark, and he is, in my opinion, part of the reason why Robb was killed.
Yes.
Yes. So I was kind of glad that I'm really enjoying seeing Jon get really up in people's faces and being like, if you hurt someone, I will kill you.
Oh, I love it. I love how protective he is of his women and his life. It's great.
Imagine if you were to get like that with Miss Dany.
Huh. Bring us to the next point. Jon and Dany.
Okay, so Jon brought Dany into those caves in Dragonstone to show him all of the different dragon glass that he's going to be mining as weapons, and we got a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah. Are you talking about the paintings or the carvings or the sexual tension?
I was going to talk about the sexual tension, and that's why I knew that you would get it.
Okay. Yeah, because they're standing in such close proximity, and we all felt this chemistry, but then inside the episode afterwards with the executive producers, they were like, yeah, you were meant to feel that they're starting to build an attraction towards each other.
But I loved that there was no spoken words about it. It was all just from their chemistry.
Yeah, and they do have it.
Do you think that Rose Leslie is watching with Kit Harington on a couch at home just being like, it's a lot of sparks flying between you two?
Yeah, she is his girlfriend. I might have to watch him engaged in sex scenes with other people. Awkward.
But I really did love the interaction that Dany and Jon had where they were like trying to convince one another, and then Dany said this amazing line.
I will fight for you. I will fight for the North. When you bend the knee.
Do I think that he's going to bend the knee for Dany? Yes. But here's also what I think. Dany and Jon are going to get married because there's nothing better than an alliance through marriage to make everyone okay with it.
A nice aunt and nephew marriage.
We're not talking about that part right now because
it's just a fact.
Game of Thrones superfan Dax Shepard feels the exact same way that we do. And if you guys don't know, Dax Shepard and his adorable wife, Kristen Bell, are probably the biggest Game of Thrones fans out there. They have dressed up as Khaleesi and Khal Drogo for Halloween before. They have gone to all the Game of Thrones premieres. They even redid the Game of Thrones opening sequence with their own interpretation, playing the instruments. Relationship goals.
Relationship goals.
And this is what Dax told us about his thoughts on Dany and Jon getting together.
My sole obsession is how soon after Jon Snow and Khaleesi meet will they kiss and get horizontal. That's almost all I care about at this point for season 7. I feel like there's sexual tension that's been burbling for years, even though we've never even seen them together. I can feel the tension. It's palpable.
I trust a guy in overalls, so
I do too.
Yeah, so.
Well, and just to let you guys know, we actually caught up with Dax while he was filming a very super secret Funny or Die skit. So we can't tell you anything about that, but that's
what the overalls
are. That's what the overalls are
possibly about, or maybe wear them. I don't know.
I don't know about that, but I do know that it's time for Keeping Up with Khaleesi.
There is so much more to talk about when it comes to Dany, especially the last.
The Loot Train battle.
Wow.
Is this the best battle in Game of Thrones history?
Ooh, that's
because for one of the very first times, we didn't necessarily know who to root for.
I think that's a very good point. I think that was one where, and I kept saying it out loud, I was like, I don't want anything to happen to Bronn, I don't want anything to happen to Jaime, I don't want anything to happen to Dany, I don't want anything to happen to Drogon. I didn't know whose side I was on, and it was so interesting too watching Tyrion watch this battle, because we felt like we were watching it kind of through his eyes. Where he's watching his brother and he's watching his queen.
But okay, did you get chills when Dany came on with Drogon and then said her iconic line?
Yes.
Let's take a look.
I started screaming.
Those poor Lannisters didn't stand a chance.
It just, the show never stops surprising me, because I always think I'm like, okay, I can watch this. We do an after show. I can always get one step ahead of the show. No. I am no Cersei.
No. But here was the ultimate surprise. The fact that on their little journey back to King's Landing, they brought a secret weapon with them.
Yeah, they had the scorpion with them.
They brought the scorpion with them. I was not expecting that.
I was sitting there thinking, I was like, okay, well, obviously Dany's going to take them all out because they don't have the scorpion. It's down in the
dungeons and underneath King's Landing.
No, and then obviously that thing's pretty easy to operate too, because Bronn just crushes it.
Whipped it out.
He's like, got it. He didn't need any instructions or anything.
But right there.
No.
The sound that Drogon made.
I got really nervous here.
Yeah, I got so nervous. I originally thought that it was going to go straight through his mouth.
Yeah, and I also stopped breathing for like 20 minutes. But I think I got really nervous because I saw a tweet where somebody was like, no, right before I watched it, and I was like, ooh, and then I closed down Twitter, but I thought maybe Dany was going to, it got me really nervous.
Well, I was really nervous, and like also it made me really scared to fly again because like she had like extreme turbulence. Yeah, I was not.
I had just landed off a plane.
Yeah, you but that was not the most shocking moment.
No.
We have yet to even get to it. The fact that Jaime saw his opportunity. So after Drogon got hurt, Dany is trying to pull the scorpion spear out of him.
Yep.
And Jaime's like, this is my chance. So he grabs the spear and he goes right on over, and this is what happened.
Jaime for me is like the ultimate redemption character because I'm like rooting for him, kind of, not in this instance, but he really is gonna go after her while she has her back turned like a coward.
Like,
still, come on, you haven't moved on from that.
I guess if that's your only opportunity, you seize it, and it's not necessarily that her back has turned; it's that she just burned up his entire army. But here's my question for you: do you think that was Bronn who saved Jaime?
I think so. I don't know who else it would have been.
Could have been Dickon.
Oh, man.
I was surprised by Dickon.
Where did this hot heartthrob come from?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Insert sexual joke here. But basically, I think it was Bronn because when we saw that he was down, he saw an unmanned white horse just kind of running by, and that's the horse that jumped over. The only thing is that I don't think the horse has survived. I'm sorry. I found, as amazing as this episode was, whenever they were actually like hurting the horses and then one of the Dothraki cut the leg off of the horse, I got so upset last night.
Yeah.
I found it really, really uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I started screaming.
Yeah, I started crying. But honestly, last night's episode was insane.
Yeah.
There were so many new moments, but there were also so many callbacks to old moments, which brings us to The North Remembers. And this week, we're talking all about the dagger.
Which kind of became a weird, like, main character of the episode.
Pretty much.
Very important. It's definitely going to be, like, the most important thing.
I think that this is going to be a dagger that's going to kill someone very important. Mm-hmm. So it's the cat's paw dagger. It's made of Valyrian steel, which we know can kill
White Walkers.
So it's going to be very helpful moving forward. And
it's now in Arya's possession. But it's important because it was used to attempt to kill Bran in season 1 by a mysterious hired assassin.
Exactly. Let's take a look back at that way rewind moment.
You're not supposed to be here. No one's supposed to be here. It's a mercy. He's dead already.
No!
I mean, that was the dagger. That whole scene kind of essentially ignited the war between the Lannisters and the Starks.
Exactly. And we know that Bran's okay because his direwolf saved him.
His direwolf.
That's very nice.
Not these guys,
That's very nice. Not these ones. His direwolf. But so, whose dagger is it?
I think it's Littlefinger's.
I think it's Littlefinger's because he admitted to Ned, he's like, oh yeah, that's my dagger. But, you know, I actually lost it to Tyrion Lannister. But we know that he's all about manipulating situations for his gain. I really think that it was him all along. And that was igniting the war between the Lannisters and the Starks.
Right, and then he says the whole chaos is a ladder line, and it's, I mean, that...
Which Bran threw back in his face last
Bran was
night.
like, I know what you're doing.
Yes. Honestly, I cannot wait. Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about like creepy, like emotionless Bran right now, but I really want him to just really confront Littlefinger and be like, I see all, I know all, and you're awful.
Yeah, it seems like he's kind of not quite found his footing with what he's supposed to do yet, but once he kind of figures it out and finds his purpose, oh, he's gonna shine.
He is gonna shine.
He is gonna shine.
Shall we shine the spotlight on Dax Shepard right now?
Yes, I love those overalls. Let's bring them back.
Yeah, it's time for our Wildfire Fast 5 with Dax Shepard.
The Hound. I love characters who you think you hate and then slowly you fall in love with them, and he checks that box for me. Ned Stark. Cersei. Yeah, I don't know how unlikely it is, but obviously the duo I'm hoping comes together is Khaleesi and Jon Snow. Again, I just want to see the two most attractive people on one team. I think Khaleesi's going to be on the Iron Throne because she's the mother of dragons.
I love that he's the most devoted Daenerys fan ever.
Team Dany fan, like most of us, I think.
Exactly.
Which I think we should probably check out who's in the lead on our little
race
leaderboard.
to the Iron Throne.
Race to the Iron Throne.
All right.
So, right now we've got Cersei up on front. Obviously, she's pulled some stuff.
She really has. And also, Dany, if you'll recall, last week was way in last place because she lost so many of her allies, but she really turned it around this week.
She took Lady Olenna's advice.
And she was like, sorry, Tyrion, I'm no longer listening to you. I'm going to just be a super amazing dragon leader.
I'm going to be a dragon.
I'm going to be a dragon.
And then we've got Jon Snow in the back because he doesn't even want the Iron Throne. He's like focused on other stuff.
He's trying to, but like also he's still in the game somehow.
I feel like he's winning the show.
Because he's focused on the true battle ahead.
Absolutely.
Which is humanity versus the White Walkers. And he's down there, he's busy mining his dragon glass, he's ready, he's discovered some cave drawings, like he's just having a great old time.
Everyone needs to listen to Jon.
Everyone needs to listen to Jon. I think it's time for us to listen/watch the teaser for next week. And we can discuss everything that happens. Let's take a look.
I'm not here to murder. Bend the knee and join me. Or refuse and die.
You need to find a way to make her listen.
Whatever stands in our way, we will defeat it.
Bran saw the Night King and his army marching towards Eastwatch. Bad things are coming.
Bad things are coming.
Do you think when Dany is saying bend the knee, do you think Jaime is standing there? Like, is he alive?
I didn't think about that.
Do you think he
maybe
is alive?
I hope that he's alive. But
I think he's alive.
Well, she wouldn't just. Yes, no, he's alive. He's alive. He's just a little knocked out. He was a little scared. He had a dragon right in his face. He went underwater. He's alive. But we need to talk about the fact that Dany's giving me some serious Mad King vibes.
King vibes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm loving it though. And also, when Varys is saying to Tyrion, you need to find a way to make her listen to you again. I think she's totally just like, nope.
Well, because also Tyrion thinks like a Lannister and Cersei thinks like a Lannister. So everything that Tyrion's doing, Cersei can predict, and he's not good for Dany. They need someone that thinks differently than a Lannister.
I never thought of it like that. I was thinking that, you know, he's one of the most intelligent characters on the show. He came up with all of these clever plans, but I really liked that he was trying to avoid all these casualties. But now Dany's just like, we can't do that anymore. They keep killing our people, so why can't we kill theirs?
Right. I mean, I love Tyrion. I keep him around. Don't get rid of him.
Please don't get rid of him.
But I don't think she should be taking his advice as closely as she had been.
Here's what I'm worried about.
Yes.
It's been a while since we've had a pretty significant death. I think next week is when it's going to happen. We had thought that it was going to be Grey Worm. He's okay. He's okay. But I was really worried we were going to lose Bronn in tonight's episode, but he's okay. I really think that next week in the battle for the White Walkers, because it's looking like it's going to be the White Walkers and the Wildlings. Okay. And I don't want to say it.
I don't want you to say it.
I'm really worried.
I don't want you to say it.
I'm really worried
I don't want you to
Tormund is going to die.
Can you please stop talking?
I know they need to have their own Missandei and Grey Worm moment, and
Tormund's not ready. He hasn't found love. He's not ready.
I think that, okay, and if it's not Tormund, I really do think that someone next week is going to die because, oh my gosh, Ashley, are you okay?
No.
Because we only have 3 episodes left of the season. 9 episodes left in total. How crazy is that?
Who's going to bite it?
Who's going to bite it? Make your prediction now. Besides Tormund.
I'm going to make a bold one.
Okay.
I'm going Tyrion.
No, not yet.
It's just, who else could it be?
Bronn? I don't want it to be Bronn, but I'm just trying to eliminate.
I feel like they got to kill somebody major instead of somebody that's like, okay, that sucks.
Well, and I would say Jaime, but I think that Jaime's going to be the one that kills Cersei, so. So many things.
I also think Tyrion's going to kill Cersei, so maybe not Tyrion. I don't know.
many
Let us know what
things.
you guys think.
Tell us your theories in the comments below, because we are dying to know, and we will incorporate them into next week's episode.
Yeah, we will. We'll read them.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Westeros Weekly. We really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment,
Tweet us.
tweet us.
All that stuff. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.